Governor for ECP.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Grievance blomi lotete and me like strong him can ask him when me been giving me go long police minister na some discussion ni come up namen lo week na. Now can me hare molsem some thinking he come long. Member not solely talk to. And that is the issue of how we plan, how we implement, and how we get results. And the most important thing is who is going to be responsible. Earlier in the week, while there was a question being asked, I noted an intervention from the minister responsible for, I think, the Electoral Commission. And this points to, I think, one of the problems we face in the country. Nato sol mi harim ken member blo wawaria mi tok longol issues blongol where emi involved in wawaria, you've got about 4 different state entities that are responsible for delivering the outcome. And this to me points to the great inefficiency that exists in our system. Some time back I proposed a block grant system and I proposed a separation of responsibilities. And this goes to the heart of what comes down and constitutes what we call the planning framework that is supposed to deliver some of these results. So let's look at the police. The Constitution gives the responsibility for policing only to police, nobody else. Constitution emi tok. Suppose you like, okay, come na amend him ken na, distribute him kolol gadaman. I just heard the police minister say that there's a responsibility and all gadaman. That's not what the Constitution says. And therein lies the problem. If the responsibility is given to someone, I'm just using the example of policing, but this applies across, it applies to the Electoral Commission, it applies to the discussion that the Honorable Member for Abao and the Honorable Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government just said. The same principle applies. Who is responsible? Some time back, I had an altercation with the good minister responsible for the Electoral Commission. You know, when we were doing the updates of the, and we were asked for the census, the minister responsible for census, ECP provincial government put down 3.4 million to pay for that. The question is, who is responsible for the outcomes? Is it the minister and his NSO team? Or is it the ECP provincial government? But we were asked to pay. We were asked to pay. And the good minister stood up there and said that it was our fault. And in fact, many other provincial governments because we didn't deliver it. But the question is, who was responsible? We just heard from the Minister of Police. Emi togolsem, law and order, heavy blow yumi olgata. Yes, pen yumi sapilim. Pen people sapilim. But the Constitution gives the responsibility to his department. So I want to say here that unless you make someone responsible for the results, nobody is going to be responsible for the results. And that's what we are seeing. We are seeing this across a range of ministries and across a range of responsibilities, Mr. Assistant Speaker. So time you ask him, Minister batok no wrong blo DDA. Time you go to DDA and batok no wrong blo provincial government. So you be pointing finger, you go come, but nobody is actually responsible. Therefore, we are not getting the results and our people are suffering. We have a complete lack of efficiency. Start lantap, negodan lotamblo. And you hear members complaining today about it. The good member for Minyamia, he was talking about agriculture. And by responsibility, blow side. National government, provincial government, DDA, LLG, or some other authority. And I think the response needs to come from government. The government needs to clarify how it wants these results delivered. Suppose you plan to work below ECP, okay, lari ECP work him, you plan come na. Investigate him ECP na find him out, me plan Pauline money or me plan working work good or no gat. Someone should be responsible for the auditing. Now yet, Mrs. Harim Desla discussion namelong, good plan minister blong, local level government na, honorable member blah blah. The member for Abao has been in this house for a very long time. He's a very experienced public servant as well. So time when we ask him some question, it comes from a very deep place. And I think it's pertinent that we take note of it. And more than that, no can just harim tasol, you talk lo parliament na. After we walk out, you sigan, na go kage lunch na, everybody goes home. And we don't fix it. Our people are suffering out there. You can go from agriculture to policing to roads to whatever. The problem is no got solution. And here's the thing. I had the Honorable Kerenga Kua raise the question earlier to the Treasurer, I think the other day, about the issue of cutting back on the budget. Stop borrowing. I had the good member for Yangro Sausia say that, and the Minister for International Trade. Well, I'm suggesting to this House that if we come up with some efficiency between the different levels of government and who is responsible for delivering the outcomes, then you are going to make some savings. The ECB provincial government delivered a budget to the Treasurer the other day, and the Treasurer asked us, what percentage of your budget is going to the core service delivery objectives of government? Education, health, law and order. Calculation, 88% of the ECB provincial government is going to these three key requirements of the government, 88%. Now, there are other departments who are given 300 million, some are given 400 million, some are given 600 million, and they are supposed to deliver on those same outcomes, not just in ECP, but in every other province. The question is, are they being measured the same way that the ECP provincial government is being measured? Or, say, the Western Highlands provincial government? Or, say, the Central provincial government? Are we measured the same? Or no God? And is it just Treasury that's doing the checking? What about the others? And I circle back to my original point. Suppose you may like straight in census. You may like recording all the man Mary inside long ECP. There's a work by giving me go long electoral commission or go long NSO or by give him come back lo ECP provincial government na bien. By ask him Musaid lo give him result. Will it be the ECP provincial government or will it be NSO? Usaid by giving. If we are going to register people for the LLG elections that's going to come up now, the issue of the electoral roll update, who is going to do it? Is it going to be the electoral commission? Is it going to be the district? Is it going to be the provincial government? Who is going to do it and who do we hold accountable? If we fixed all these things, I put it to this floor that you can reduce in budget blaming and you can reduce in borrowing. Right now we are duplicating these functions everywhere. And here's the other thing. If somebody does not deliver on the promise, like for example, we just said that police are picking up, 800 million this year. ECB provincial government is spending almost 20 million on law and order with no support from the national government. But me talk, thank you also, Wampla Deputy Police Commissioner, I go down lo weekend. Na I'm round long ECB, na look how him can help him. And I want to thank the Police Commissioner for that. But more than that, suppose him responsibility belong na mipla pilim pen, na mipla tram lo karim heavy. Who is actually responsible? Now suppose police is spending money on law and order, district is spending money on law and order, provincial government is spending money on law and order, now still you mean no straight in. Responsibility by low side. Who do we hold accountable? Do you hold the governor accountable? Because in ECB at the moment, every time there is a law and order problem, I'm Asuablo governor. I mean no Asuablo police. But the constitution tells me I'm Waklo police. But who is measured against it? The governor of ECB. So I want to implore the front bench of the government, please, you're not going to straighten this land, separate him, not talking me blogger. You walk in this la walk, you walk in this la walk, you walk in this la walk, and we will hold you all accountable for the things that you do. No can come to parliament beyond, you blame him over the man, district, LLG, province. It's not good enough. We need results. Our people need results. And so I ask the front bench, please help us so we can all give you results at our various levels. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.